Welcome to finally another rotary review. Finally, we're in an RX-7 FC from 1987. And first, you flick a switch. You flick that on, then you flick this on, and then you turn the key. And my legs are barely on the pedal, so I'm gonna have to gangster lean this review. I just realized his key is in the shape of a rotary. That's amazing. So first things first, because race car, there is no power steering. So I am using my chicken arms to get this thing in reverse. Please, 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 please. All right. Oh my gosh. I am so weak, dude. All right, so I'm just driving this totally obnoxious race car on Clemson University's golf course. Pop a fireball when they do a drive, please. Fear my Dorito. Is it Cooler Ranch or nacho cheese? Oh my God. Pop, 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 pop. Alright, so what's up you guys? Dave here once again for another video review, and today we're in something very special. This belongs to my buddy James, and so this is his race car, without a doubt. It's breaking necks everywhere I go. Full harnesses, bright seats, gutted interior. Well, semi-gutted, kinda, sorta. But in the back it's gutted, and I'm having to yell at you everywhere I go. The thing about rotaries is that I have almost no experience with them. So it's a very cool experience for me to drive a rotary car. I did an RX-8 recently, but that doesn't really, you know, RX-8's a great car because it has basically the same chassis as the NC Miata, which is fine. But when I think of a rotary car, I think of the FC or the FD. Oh, no way! It has the shifter light from the FB? I want to clarify before I get in it that the FB and the FC had a shifter like buzzer. Every time you revved it up, it sounded like old man Jenkins on his porch yelling at you to go to the next gear. And it's in this. You can barely hear it when I hit red light, but keep an ear out. The pops and crackles are so awesome. It's funny, that second gear I just did, I was so focused on the tack because you kind of, like, frame of reference for sound is, it's so unorthodox. If you're not used to revving to 8,000 RPM, you're not used to revving to 8,000 RPM. So I was so focused on the tack that the car shot a fireball and then rotated, and I was like, goodness gracious. Also, the color of this car is from a Civic Si, believe it or not. It has a beautiful blue flake in it. He also has, for some reason, a JE piston sticker on his car. That's to throw everyone off. There used to be this video that went viral on YouTube. He went up to a guy with a Mustang GT and goes, "Oh, you got a rotary? You got a rotary?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, with pistons too?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You don't know what you're talking about, dude." I missed. Calling so many shots fired, like everywhere you go. I love race cars. They're so good. They are totally not meant to be on the street, but they're so good. But this has 13B, naturally aspirated, non-turbo, and I actually met James at a track event called iTrack. And iTrack is this really great event where you can drift and autocross. And I saw this thing ripping around, chasing the Stage 3 Fiesta that I I just reviewed. The crazy thing too is that I can rev this thing to 8,000 RPM, but I am ruining everyone's day everywhere I go, without a doubt. It's loud, obnoxious. The thing about rotaries I've noticed is I really love the sound when they're idling, and also when they're like at the very top. Mid-range, I'm like on the fence about. Sometimes, if you have the wrong muffler system or exhaust system on a rotary, it sounds like a beehive the entire time. Or a moaning cow. You're never gonna unhear that one. The one thing I can tell with this car is it's very stiff, but you know, race car. It's for the right reasons. And also, the tire setup on this is ridiculous. Has Hoosiers on the back, and with the Hoosiers, it is so grippy, I can't even express. So when you're in an autocross or anything like that, right now, running them in, having a full conversation with you, no big deal, one-handed. That's awesome. There is no weight in the front at all. It is the weirdest experience. You always feel the weight in the front, but with this, it feels like you're almost floating. But yeah, that was third gear the entire time. That's one thing about rotary engines, that they feel like they never end when you're in gear. But when you go back to back into gear, it goes right back into the power band. I kind of eased into that and just kind of saw where it would go. But he's got a Nardi wheel that he got for $50, unlike anybody else on this planet. Inside he has his brand, head held high with the Stay Up sticker. Definitely check out his brand, it's really great stuff. And along with that, tip gauge, pillar pod, standard issue, everything else. These harnesses are actually really nice. They're really easy to adjust, unlike a lot of other brands where it's just a fight to the death to adjust the harnesses. One thing I have noticed is the gas mileage is terrible. 9 miles to the gallon, but that's mostly because of the diff. And with the diff, it's a 488 rear end. 488! Wow, that's insane. Handling the pavement really, really good. A little bit of rough pavement up ahead. Easy. You never understand how drastic it is going from a street car that's just a street car to a street car that's been converted into a race car. It's like a completely different experience because one, on the street, a little bit rougher to get around, but it shines so well when you need it to. Earlier, he was ripping corners full throttle and it was hooking the entire time. And I'm like, this is just ridiculous. The legacy of the RX-7 is an interesting one. The FB, then they moved on to the FC, which gained a little bit more popularity than the FB. Then the FD is the pretty much king of the RX series because everybody knows it. And you know, Fast and Furious didn't help. But at the same time, the FD is now notorious for engine swapping. And people still engine swap the FCs. I've actually seen drag car FCs swapped with V8s in them. But after driving this with the rotary, even though it's high maintenance and kind of an issue and has issues, I understand why people keep it. I never understood before why people kept it because I thought it was a cool engine. The Wankel engine with the patented is a cool idea, but I thought the execution wasn't that great because you had to replace stuff all the time. But with this friggin' street-ported rotary up on, it is so much fun. I cannot express enough. So what I've noticed is if you're not perfectly in throttle, the whole car goes like this. And part of that is the diff and everything, but yeah, it does not like you if you're not consistent with your throttle. Believe it or not, the clutch in this car is an XD Stage 1, and it actually feels really good. It was just laying around one day, and they put it in the car. So 225 up front, with your Ditto ETO ones, and then the back of the Hoosiers with 245. What's funny is the car before this he built or helped build was a Subaru with like 600 horsepower that went through 5 motors basically. And then he gets a rotary car, which is notorious for going through engines, and he's barely got through any. So I don't know anymore. It's just luck of the draw sometimes. He did this, and then he did a bunch of hill climbs with it, and he's had more seat time in this, it seems like, than fake eBay coilovers, and I had no idea. I was like, what you running, Coney's or Fortunes or BC's? Like, no, there's these cheap ones I got off eBay. It's like, well, whatever floats your boat. If it works, I'm not even mad. Welcome to cruising on the highway with this car. He drives this thing an hour and a half to do track events sometimes, so bow to your sensei. So the thing about this engine is that it's very dramatic. It's very like, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it does rip really down low. But it's more for the experience. It's like a really fun time going gear to gear because it just never ends. It's just weird feeling that it's revving and revving and revving and revving, and you're like, can I go to the next gear? Nope, still in it. Still gotta keep going. I really do like this Nardi wheel though. It feels fan-freaking-tastic. Combined with the bright seats, I'm held nice in place. Me being a pretty skinny dude, I'm gripped nice in place. Coming from a stop sign, I can't go anywhere. So in comparison, to the FB RX-7 that I drove, miles ahead of the FB RX-7. FB RX-7 was a really cool exercise in my opinion, and it was a really cool car, but I think the FC is just far superior. This motor is superior, everything's superior. It's faster, it feels better, feels more balanced, all around better car, and I think Mazda did a really good job back in the day. I think what I need to do next is to go to Puerto Rico and drive some of their rotaries. Fantastic time. Huge thanks to James for letting me drive this thing. This thing's a beast, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.